The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20. Turbo 30. And introducing Turbo 100. Leap. Let's evolve as people.
This is CC6 Newsnight Week in Review for March 3rd to the 6th, 2014. It was a week in which former Education Minister defends free school books program as government highlights financial irregularities with its administering. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell becomes the first parliamentarian to declare his assets to the Integrity Commission. New Soca Monarch crowned as Karakou Carnival comes to a close. And in sports, more than 25 teams register for 20th Annual Flo Mount Airy Windball Cricket Tournament. We'll bring you the details of these and more when we return.
Paint it, landscape it, accessorize it, renovate it, make it yours.
Your dream home is already built and waiting for you. Grenada Cooperative Bank's Independent Special offers attractive properties in prime locations, no legal fees, no loan fees, and special discounts on interest rates. And ask about our Property Hunters Day. Call or visit us today and make it yours.
Make it yours.
Large windows, large doors, small windows, small doors. At St. Lou Metal, the size doesn't matter. You order the size you want and we make it to your specifications. If you need our new heavy-duty casement windows or half-inch impact or laminated glass or any other doors and windows, no problem. What size? Any size. You get it at St. Lou Metal. And coming soon, PVC windows and hurricane shutters. St. Lou Metal, 19 Frequente Industrial Park, powered by Grenadian Innovation.
Thanks for joining us. I am Blossom Alexis Welsh. A former education minister is defending the NDC administration's decision to introduce the school books program and is calling on the present holder of the office to focus more on uplifting education.
Education Minister Honorable Anthony Boson says $1.5 million is now owed to suppliers of school books as a result of his predecessor's action to implement the school book program without doing a proper review. The school books program was introduced by the former administration in 2008 to eliminate the cost to parents for purchasing books for school children. Addressing the weekly post-cabinet briefing on Tuesday at the ministerial complex, Minister Boson says an audit done on the program revealed some serious financial irregularities, including the payment by parents of $25 for these books.
The funds that were supposed to be collected from the students in the various schools and turned into the treasury, in 90% of the cases studied, those funds were never turned into the treasury. And it stands now that in excess of $100,000 is still outstanding out there.
Minister Boson says the ministry has in its possession books that were ordered and never used.
In one instance, a certain text, a certain book, series of books was ordered, talking about 4,500 copies, costing roughly $360,000, and I never used in IT, because it happened to be the wrong book. What was also revealed was that different actors involved, whether it was the principals in the schools, the education officers, the curriculum department, the procurement department, never operated as a unit.
In response to his statements about the school books program, former Education Minister Franca Alexis Bernardine says there was an administrative team in place to ensure that things were done in order. Mrs. Alexis Bernardine says the books were chosen by subject panelists.
We allowed them a 3 to 4 month period in which the subject panels would come together and determine one textbook that they will use, understanding that no one textbook can provide everything. But they could get supplemental books and materials from elsewhere. And that one book was what we asked them for, and that is what was ordered. In terms of the numbers, the principals, along with the identified teacher who was responsible and who would have been trained to handle it, did the final counting. And that was vetted by the education officer for the area and then brought up to the chief education officer before it came to the permanent secretary level and to myself.
With regards to funds collected that were never deposited into the Treasury, Mrs. Alexis Bernardine says they discovered the problem in 2009 and had set up a bursar system to address it.
We designed a system of bursars to share one bursar between several schools, because I do believe the principals were having issues with their support staff in terms of secretarial duties and so on. There were a lot of Imani young people in the program who were not able to handle the secretarial support at that level. And so we came up with this old system of bursars to share one between 4 or 5. I'd like to ask the minister if he's implemented it yet, or what is the delay there, you know, to help. But I wouldn't go into a flap over the fact that a principal put the $200 that should have gone into the Treasury into the school feeding program as long as they could account for it.
Mrs. Alexis Bernardine says in all this, the most important thing is for the nation's children to have the books needed to undertake their studies. Janelle Ruben, CC6 Newsnight.
After almost 30 years in the lower house of representatives, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell became the first parliamentarian to officially declare his assets to the newly established Integrity Commission, in a process that took months to gather information and about 2 minutes to complete. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, kept his promise and was the first parliamentarian to declare his assets to the Office of Integrity Commission on Tuesday. The short process of the declaration ran from 10 a.m. to 12 noon for representatives in the lower house of Parliament, while members of the Senate will go through the same process on Wednesday. The nation's leader arrived at exactly 10 a.m. and in the presence of 4 members of the commission, signed his name and signature on the envelope containing the relevant documents, then was made to witness the stamping of the official seal of the Office of Integrity Commission on the same envelope. Speaking to the media after, PM Mitchell says he was proud to lead the important process.
I'm very happy that we are back in office and we have officially got this important act going, and that I'm the first person who has in fact declared my assets, and I'm extremely proud to do so because I believe it's important in the interest of the country that those of us who bring ourselves forward to represent people do in fact act above board as much as is possible, especially in this period where people are hungry for information and to know what's going on in and outside of government. Most of it were assets coming from my investment in the United States when I was living in the United States. I have very little growth in my personal life after I returned here. So you get it? $19 million, my net asset. You're the first who asked me that question. EC, 19 million EC.
According to the Public Life Act, the Governor General shall appoint an auditor to examine and verify the contents and accuracy of the declarations. Prime Minister Mitchell says all the necessary information has been made available, and the activity showcases the importance of being transparent and accountable.
By this act today, demonstrating that we are serious about the whole question of corruption, and we have seen the effects of corruption and what it has caused to society. We see it at various levels in the society, and not just the public sector. We've seen it in other areas. And therefore, the country would progress far better if those of us who are in important positions, whether it's public life or private life, act more appropriately and more honestly, so that the people who are making the necessary sacrifice and working hard in the country can also benefit from what's available in the country. It should not be one set of people doing well and the others are finding difficulty to cope.
A justice of the peace was also made available for the parliamentarians who were unable to have that part of the declaration form filled out. The Office of Integrity Commission is chaired by retired Judge Monica Joseph. According to the legislation, if anyone in public life fails to file a declaration, the Commission shall publish that fact in the Government Gazette and in at least one weekly newspaper. An application would then be filed to the court for an order directing them to comply with the law, and in addition to making such an order, the court may then impose such conditions as it thinks fit. Wednesday was the time for senators to declare their assets to the Integrity Commission, but two members of the upper house say the information should be made public so that people will get to know their representatives better. Two independent senators are calling for the publicizing of information that has been submitted by parliamentarians during the process of declaration of assets to the Office of Integrity Commission on Tuesday and Wednesday. Members of both the lower and upper houses of Parliament have been visiting the office located in Archibald Avenue, St. George's, to present their assets to the Commission, which was appointed late last year by the Keith Mitchell-led administration. Labour representative in the Senate, Senator Raymond Roberts, says, however, the public should be made aware of some of the things the parliamentarians declared.
I would trust that this is not an exercise where the public don't know what I'm in the Senate with. I would hope that at some stage, people will know whether I have $10 or $50,000 or whatever amount. I don't have that amount in any case, but I'm just calling numbers. So I would hope that it does not remain literature in the Commission. It is a published document, not giving maybe a complete details, but I think the public wants to know when a politician gets into the Parliament, what's his or her value, and when he or she is leaving, what is their value. So I would hope that is certainly a part of the process. I heard the Honourable Prime Minister yesterday, and my excitement was to hear his sort of intake and his liabilities. I heard that he had enough to live for life, for the rest of his life, but he was happy with it, So I would hope the public get a sense of it.
Farmers' representative in the Senate, Honourable Keith Clowden, agrees with his colleague.
I would think in public life, you ought not to be afraid of the public, because the mission in public life is to serve the public. And if it has to be made available to the public through whatever means, a gazette, or it has to be gazetted or whatever, I have absolutely no problem with it. In fact, I think it is the prudent thing to do so that the people that we serve know full well what we are about, what we have, and in the event that the day comes when we leave public life, there is no implication in terms of what we may have accumulated.
According to the Integrity in Public Life legislation, the Commission and anyone performing any function in the service of the Commission shall treat all declarations, records, or information as secret and confidential, and shall not disclose or communicate to any unauthorized person. In the meantime, the members of the upper house declared their assets on Wednesday to the office, the first of whom was opposition senator and political leader of the National Democratic Congress, Senator Nazim Burke.
Held to account for their earnings, their resources, and what they do. So personally, I welcome the occasion. I have absolutely no difficulty with that at all. I think it's a good opportunity for me to show that indeed I do not have the 5 houses, that the whole nation thought I had these 5 houses, and all of the assets that they've been claiming I have millions of dollars stashed off in bank accounts in the Cayman Islands and Panama and so on. So what we're doing here is making a true and honest statement of resources, income, assets, liabilities, and so that the world can see who we are and what we are.
Private sector representative in the Senate, Honourable Chris Diali, is cautious, however, that the declaration of assets may have a negative effect on workers in the sector who wish to get into public life.
I do, however, suspect that this process is going to hinder some of us in the private sector, in particularly, who would like to serve in public offices, whether it be on boards, Senate, or wherever the case, because the depth of this declaration is far-reaching for some of us, and it may cause some of us to hesitate to serve in the future, because you have to declare for your your wife and your children if they're under 18 and so on. So it can be extensive, the reach. And as a result, I believe some of us may have some hesitations in the future. But again, it is a new process. We see how it evolves and how it develops. And I think it is a process that's heading us in the right direction.
The legislation says where an unauthorized person publishes information that is secret or confidential, commits an offense, and is liable on summary conviction to a fine not exceeding EC $20,000 or a term of imprisonment of 1 year or both fine and imprisonment. When we return, controversial sections removed from e-crimes bill.
You want your loved ones around to celebrate, especially those living far. And with Digicel Top-Up, Dad can help you bring life to the party and be part of the celebration. Ask him to send you Digicel Minutes. Receive free instant additional credit. And stay connected here and there. Ask your family abroad to send Digicel Minutes today.
The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20. Turbo 30. And introducing Turbo 100. Leap. Let's evolve as people.
Breeze removes stains in the first wash. The other detergents, not always. You have to wash it all again and use twice the amount. So, which one costs more? Do the math. Choose Breeze. Unbeatable stain removal.
Welcome back. The media came under heavy fire on Thursday as government fulfilled its promise to delete 3 controversial sections of the Electronic Crimes Bill.
Sections 6, 16 and 25 have been completely removed from the Electronic Crimes Act during the seating of Parliament at the Grenada Trade Center on Thursday. The sections, especially Section 6, have raised grave concerns with local, regional and international media organizations, which have forced government to consider repealing the sections. And on Thursday, that promise was fulfilled as Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Keith Mitchell, officially made the announcement.
So after listening to those voices, and whenever I traveled out, the first question was asked of me by the media concerned, what are you doing about this? I assured members that we were going to move to remove those sections that they found difficult. We felt there is enough in the Act, right, to create some incentive for not breaking that law that we have passed and causing problems to the society. But since we felt that they were concerned and had all that difficulty, we therefore decided to come here today to meet our commitment to those that we promised that we will do so they know when this government says something that it means it.
The nation's leader also admonished the media to not use the deletion of the section of the Act as an excuse to be irresponsible in their reporting.
The responsibilities on the media practitioners in the country is to ensure those who practice among them also meet certain basic standards. And it must not be felt that because I'm a media person, that I can do what I want and I don't have to obey laws. Because there is that perception here among a few persons in the media in this country. I don't even know if they could call them media, because some of the things I see, you would almost like you call a slander sheet. Something meant to destroy a certain group of persons. There is nothing about education, Mr. Speaker. It is frightening.
Section 16 sought to punish P3 with a minimum 3-year sentence for electronic stalking, while Section 25 provided police officers with the power to arrest offenders on suspicion of committing an offense without a warrant.
We want to work The media has such an important role in the society to educate and to help people, to help the society to model itself. The media has to be a watchdog for things. If the government does something wrong, the media has a fundamental responsibility to expose it. Not falsehood, not lies, not propaganda, but information that are necessarily not in the best interest of the country. Absolutely so. That's the role of the media. And to scrutinize us all, and that's why we are not afraid to be scrutinized by being able to start the declaration of assets.
President of the Media Workers Association of Grenada, Sherian Noel, says they welcome government's decision to amend the bill. Amanda Sampson, CC6 Newsnight.
Former Grenadian soca monarch Mr. Killer made history last week Friday when he placed second in one of the most look-forward to events in Trinidad and Tobago's Carnival, as thousands tuned in to CC6 to witness the spectacular night of music. Hollis Map, Mr. Killer, put down a 13-minute performance at the International Soca Monarch Final last Friday night in Trinidad to finish in a three-way tie for second place. During the performance of his hit tune, Roly Poly, a song released for Spice Mass 2013, the former Grenadian Soca Monarch's performance included a handstand on the backs of two of his Roly Poly dancers before introducing a Roly Poly machine. A slim young lady entered the machine and was transformed into a roly-poly woman, one of the highlights of the energetic performer's presentation. Mr. Killer spoke to one of the co-hosts of the televised broadcast of the event after his performance.
Actually feeling great. I mean, Soca Monarch, I'm a part of it, the greatest soca show on the face of the earth. So, you don't know, it's great.
Yeah. Now, I saw a contingent in the audience there with, your national flag and everything. How do you feel representing?
Of course, I mean, Grenada, my homeland, and seeing all these flags out there is just wonderful. You understand? And I'm here to represent, and represent full 100.
Mr. Killer also succeeded in lifting an over 300-pound 20-year-old Trinidadian woman who he was unable to lift during the semi-final round of the competition, and he subsequently proposed to her.
I feel extremely good. I mean, I'm blessed. Performance tonight, the only thing is that my setup time, I think, was confused because they're supposed to have the light off for us to set up on stage and stuff like that, and the light was on, really and truly. So, I mean, little things like that, was kind of off a little bit. But, I mean, besides that, I went on there, have fun, do my thing, you understand? Make sure I sing out my song for the judges and everything like that. So, you don't know, they're good vibes, man.
And how was the energy from the crowd? I mean, being on the stage of the grand finals.
I mean, some people in like, and then some people is like, you understand what I'm showing you? So it's crazy. The audience always give me a good vibe. You understand what I'm showing you? Hearing them screaming, seeing them waving their rags, the lighters in the air. You understand? It's just pure madness.
Mr. Killer finished in a historic three-way tie for second place with Destra Garcia and Neil Iwa George. He also walked away with the inaugural award of Carib Breakthrough Artist of the Year after facing Irfan Al for the title and the grand prize of a Ford Ranger. Defending Power Soca Monarch Marshall Montano retained his title despite the stiff challenges with a host of dancers and less props as he has become known for in his presentation of Ministry of Road. The other Grenadian in competition on Friday night, Talpri, another former soca monarch, with his hit tune Jab Nation, was not named in the top 4 despite his energetic and exciting performance on stage.
I want to tell you about this. Real love. Real love. Real love. I want them to understand what I'm saying. And watch behind me, you're going to see. Hello? Look a man with a spade in the left hand. See a girl with a fucking chin right hand. Another one with a whole house phone. No diatone. Deep conversation. I remember Lord God Almighty. Look she them you. Wearing she 90. Let me see that's not all anti. There's a big girls that shows in the party. I want to live in the street.
Blossom Alexis Welsh, CC6 Newsnight. What has been described as some of the largest crowds ever turned out for carnival events on the Sister Isle as a new soca king was crowned. A new soca king was crowned on the Sister Isle of Carriacou on Friday, following a night of competitive musical face-off among some of the island's best artists. Brendan McKee, Killer B, defeated 14 other performers to take the 2014 title. He spoke to CC6 Newsnight after he was crowned and says his hard work paid off.
My goal for any carnival So when I roll on myself, I want to win Soca Monarch, and I take it 2 years in a row, and I did not do it. And I decided, you know what, this year I have to do it, and I go all out. I spend enough, practice enough. Well, not enough rehearsal, but at the end of the day, I'm a singer, and I know what to do when the time is right, you see me?
No! Follow the troop! Follow the troop! Follow the troop! We gonna march on the road! Follow the troop!
Coming in second is an artist from the mainland, Kester Brooks, who finished 31 points behind the new king. He says he is proud of his achievement.
It's amazing. I must say thanks to all the supporters, the dancers and so forth. But to me, I feel like a winner. It's been 2 years I start singing, and to get this far in a competition already, it's a milestone for me. I would always say, God is power.
When you mother, we mother, everybody. When you jump up in it, hold on to her. Everybody, we mother, we mother, we mother. Everybody.
Third place went to Boneless, who was just 2 points behind second place. He, however, was disappointed with his performance.
I'm satisfied to place third because last year I placed 8th, but third place tonight brings tears to my eyes. I'm so sad to place third, but I guess that is what I deserve after my performance. The selection was first written by myself, then my manager Richard McWilkin, and then my secretary Susan Peterson from Australia. The production was export, Carico production, full 100.
Time to what we fought. We don't want to fight to smile the carnival, to smile the festival. If you get mashed in the party, take it easy. This carnival is about love and unity. If you come in town to look at it, I beg you please stand up on this side. So them jab them, come round the dog, they put in everything.
The 2013 monarch, Jermaine superstar Simon, did not defend her crown. Blossom Alexis Welsh, CC6 Newsnight.
You know we well trained, security strong. So let me see, at least hold yours inside his.
Coming up in Sports on 6, 3 candidates for a post of president of the Grenada Football Association.
The Leap is about giving you the ability to explore your potential so you can keep up with the fast-paced world we live in. Leap into the future with Flo's broadband packages. Turbo 10, $75. Turbo 20. Turbo 30. And introducing Turbo 100. Leap. Let's evolve as people.
Life in Grenada. Aye, we have the spice, we have the flavor. I'm sorry that you're sorry, but sorry's not so good enough for me, baby. I'm sorry that you're sorry, but sorry can't dry my tears, lady. And each time we try, you come with your same story. Now you're sorry, but I'm sorry cause I can't accept a apology.
Live on Community Channel 6 every Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's Sound System Saturday.
Welcome back. A popular windball cricket tournament got underway in the eastern side of the island this week, and officials of the GFA are gearing up for their annual general meeting with hopes of electing a positive team that can take the association forward. Let's go to Janelle Andrews for that report.
Hello there, sports fans. I am Janelle Andrews, and now for what's happening. More than 25 teams are expected to contest the 2014 Flow-sponsored Mount Airy Windball Cricket Competition, which bowled off on Sunday at the Mount Airy Playing Field, St. George. The competition, which is marking its 28th-year milestone, commenced with the customary march past of the participating teams, followed by several friendly matches. Sales and Marketing Coordinator of main sponsors Flow is Akira Licorice.
At Flow, we are honored to support initiatives
that encourage the development of people through sports. The Mount Airy Windball Cricket Competition has played an important role in these surrounding communities by bringing people together from across Grenada to compete in this lovely sport of cricket. In this year, 28th year of the competition, on behalf of Flo, I extend congratulations for this milestone achievement. Additionally, I wish you best success for this tournament, and we look forward to continue to years to come. To the teams, we extend to you best wishes, be competitive, but most of all, have clean fun.
Parliamentary representative for the area, Gregory Bowen, declared the competition open.
I wish all of you the very best. May the best team win. And I congratulate the Monterey Sports and Cultural Club for carrying on this competition, for having brought it to the 20th year. And we look forward to the day when we will be seeing the next 10 years, the decade approach, and that this competition will still be going strong.
All teams participating in the 20th Flo Monterey Windball Cricket Competition, which features youth, ladies and senior divisions, will be battling for the $1,500 top prize, a second prize of $1,000, and an $800 third place reward, along with several trophies and other prizes. Grenada National Lotteries Authority also supports the event and was represented at the opening by Jeffrey Gilbert. Moving on to football, President of the Grenada Football Association, Chenny Joseph, will be going for another term at the helm of Grenada's football governing body at the association's annual general meeting, which is planned for March 15th. The AGM is expected to provide GFA clubs and affiliates with reports on all financial matters, as well as an activity report and the election of officers. Mr. Joseph made the announcement at a press briefing at GFA's Secretariat in St. George's on Monday and outlined his plans for the AGM, which will be convened at the Grenada National Cricket Stadium from 10 a.m.
Each club will have 3 delegates attending such a meeting. It is where ideas are being discussed. It is where sometimes, issues are being resolved, sometimes a bit debatable. But we want the media to be part of the second half of such event on the 15th of March. That is the period beyond the election. And the reason why we feel it's important, a lot of things are happening in football, but we are guilty of not letting you know. We are guilty of not building relationship that can assist us in spreading the good news. So sometimes when the bad news seems to take the airwaves, it gives the impression that it's only bad things happening in football. Regarding the AGM, I have offered myself up for a second time in office, and the other challengers to the position of presidency are Mr. Bruce Swan and Mr. Ramfolks. They are the persons that will be contesting the seat of president. Also, there are 4 candidates for the position of vice president. The 4 candidates for the position of vice president are Kelvin Dottin, Bernardine Andrew, Alan James, and the incumbent Roderick Griffith.
He says notices to GFA members have already been submitted, and the GFA is currently working closely with its auditors to ensure readiness for the scheduled date.
That's all we have for you in Sports on 6. We'll recap the top stories next. Recapping the top stories this week. Former Education Minister defends free school books program as government highlights financial irregularities with its administering. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell becomes the first parliamentarian to declare his assets to the Integrity Commission. New Soca Monarch crowned as Carriacou Carnival comes to a close. And in sports, more than 25 teams register for 20th annual Flo Mount Airy Windball Cricket Tournament. That brings us to the end of CC6 Newsnight Week in Review for March 3rd to the 6th, 2014. Top stories from CC6 Newsnight can also be seen on our Facebook page, Flow Community Channel 6. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Blossom Alexis Welsh. Thank you so much for joining us.